like a lot of like very specific things that I just am always drawn to.
Yeah, for sure.
Blue and purple, stars, space, planets, the universe, clouds is a big one. Hot air balloons.
Yeah. Dude, same. Like everything you're saying, same.
Yeah,
They're
it's
so
just,
whimsical
I don't know why.
and
Like,
nice. And I'll be driving.
windmills.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Delicious, right there. I'll look at a cloud. I'll be driving and I'll be mad and I'll look at like a really nice cloud. I'll be like, it's a nice cloud. Just, my mood's like instantly better. I'm like,
How do you feel
I
about
love
rainbows?
they're nice. I like when I see them.
They don't hit me like the other ones do, though.
Clouds hit me more than rainbows. But
Yeah.
when I do see a rainbow, I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah,
But
for
like
sure.
a big tasty cloud just like doing its thing up there, I'm like, you beautiful beast. Right on. I wish they were like, I think if I did create a world, I would have the clouds be like sentient, little like animals.
Did you ever play Pajama Sam when you were a kid?
No, I played a game where Pajama Sam was like the demo, and I could only do like 3 things in it. I'm
I
like,
know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, because it was like Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, and Putt Putt.
And Spy Fox?
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds probable. But yeah, I had like a Putt Putt adventure, and then on that one was like Pajama Sam and Freddy Fish.
Nice.
And like the demo, I'm like, oh, and I would replay the demos over and over again, and wouldn't ask my parents to buy it. I was just like, this is all I need.
That's kind of what I did, actually.
That's all we needed.
I would just have like 1 or 2 games, and then like every once in a while I'd get, I don't know what would like trigger me to get another one. It's definitely one of those things where it's like it doesn't even pass your thought to be like, oh, I can ask.
Yeah, I know. It's just like the world's gonna give me these
My
games.
parents probably would have bought me another one. It's just that I was just like, oh, I can do this forever.
I think I replayed like, I don't know. I didn't play many games, but the games I did play, I just like beat to death as a kid. I remember being really. So I remember playing this really old game. It was kind of like I don't know, like a bunch of like balloons or something floated, and you had to pop them with your mouse in order to get points or something. It was a very simple game, but the music, I remember the music hit me really hard. I think it was like almost like very early electronic, like almost like if Deadmau5 had made a computer game in the 1990s and he made the music for it.
Interesting.
And it was very like trancey or whatever, and I remember it was my vibe. I was like, I like this jam. I think that was when I first got into like EDM type stuff. With that, it was just very calming.
How old were you?
Let's see, I was using like the computer and must have been like 10, 11.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. It's like you go into the audio, you turn the volume really high, all you hear is. No, I'd die. But yeah,
Let's chill.
I played Spyro. I played Frogger. Me and my sister played this like 3D Frogger game on our computer. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
What other games did I used to play? Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever play computer games in your like school computers?
Oh, like the online games and such.
Or like games that were built onto like the PC itself?
School computers. In terms of like computer games, it was always like web browser games, like on like Mini Clip, RuneScape, or like it was never stuff that was like on the computer, like CartoonNetwork.com, like
Okay.
kind of stuff.
My school would give us like computer games you could buy for the summer, and they would be like educational, like teach you how to do math and stuff. But like they were pretty lit. Like they had full on stories. They were like well done. I don't know. I just remember being just entranced. It's rare to feel that way when I play a game now.
Yeah.
Just like super immersed. It's like because everything's new, all these new ideas and colors and story plots or whatever. So that's
I
that.
just want to play Breath of the Wild right now. I've been wanting to maybe get back into it.
No, I literally think that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, just sit down, like. But at the same time, I'm like, I'll play it till I'm 30. That'll be nice. Like, also, I just have to actually play it. But,
True.
but yeah, like that little iPhone game I'm playing is super fun, charming, straightforward. But like, something nice about pixel art like that, super simple, that gives your imagination room to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
When there's like, it's not described all the way for you. I just like that style.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Chrono Trigger was a lot like that. I want to replay that too.
Yeah, I feel like with pixel art, it's well, you just recently started doing pixel art, and you say it's like, I guess the limitations of it make it
Right.
easier.
There's only so much that like there's only so many options that you have, like where to place a pixel. So if it doesn't work in one way, it's bound to work in a different way. And it has there are ways to make it look cleaner. So like if you double up on blocks, whatever, you just erase a block so that it's more of a straight line instead of like I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
That's like the anti-aliasing. And there's the tools out now are like super efficient for it, very much like Photoshop. This is kind of like relaxing in that way. Like I said earlier, like the burden of choice, it removes a lot of that burden from you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And color palettes are like they're more intuitive almost to choose. You really go so much simpler.
I was gonna say, because you don't have to. When I'm drawing in Photoshop, I guess really it's the idea of just limitations, as usual, where it's like, I'm just gonna choose because with pixel art you only want to choose probably like 4 or 5 colors max on a character design.
Or you have a palette of like just blue, and then you have the local color, and then all the shadows are blue, and then you have the clothing that's a different color. It's like it's nice. It's nice to be able to learn to take that, and then I'll take it back into like my art, my non-pixel art.
Right.
And I think it would be very effective. That's something that like I struggle with, thinking that simplicity is my way of being lazy, but it's not. It's its own. It's surprisingly complex, and if the effect is powerful, then there's no reason to like hurt myself to do more if it doesn't call for it.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting limitations on the NES, like back in the day. Like the sole reason that Mega Man is blue is because they had the most. That blue had the most variety of colors.
That's funny.
So they gave all blue, like everything blue, to Mega Man basically.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot about like if I were to design like a main character, what color I would choose for him. And like for some reason I'm always drawn to like green for like a main character, like green and white. You don't see a lot of like main characters that, because usually red and blue are seen as like the forefront of like that's the leader character, like a Red Ranger and and just Sonic and Mario, they're all
red.
That's just a color that those colors just scream like leader or protagonist, I guess.
Yeah. It's definitely like and you can look at like actually even Sonic and Mario are both red, white, blue.
Mm-hmm. They're very like the primary. Most kids characters and toys and whatever are usually red, blue, or yellow because they contrast each other heavily. They stand out. Kids are drawn to them. I know as a kid I was obsessed with yellow. Anything like Simba and Pikachu, and it was just seeing them on the screen. It would be like eating a tasty meal. I was like, good colors.
Nice.
I didn't think that then, but I was like really up close to the screen, and my parents were like, "Don't do that." Now my vision is garbage. Worth it though.
Worth it though. Now I need glasses to draw properly. My career.
I wake up and everything's just a Picasso painting.
Oh, that's bad. I mean, I don't know. Unless Picasso's actually like that, then it's like in between episodes. In between episodes, so we just recorded episode 5, and this is 6 now. Yeah, I got some really good news in between both episodes for Blip Sounds, and
He's pregnant.
Blip Sounds is pregnant.
It's having a baby.
It's having a baby. Its name is Blorp. Blorp and Blarp and Blomp.
They're German.
Yeah, German names. That's why you don't. That's why they're all like. That's why they're not. It's not unusual. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's like the nice way of saying weird. It's avant-garde. Okay, just. Blomp, Blorp, and Blarp are all avant-garde names. It's there's a better word for it, but anyways, yeah, I got really good news, and basically, I don't know, it's weird just to be able to trace back over time why I got this good news, because like it's kind of crazy to.
It was never in the plans.
No, it wasn't, because Blip Sounds is a game audio business, and yeah, some of the most powerful businesses in the world are suddenly like
Recruiting.
Hey, we need you for this, and I'm like, okay.
I find it funny that like you tap into a niche that I guess people need, people want.
I guess. I mean, I can't talk about. I don't know if I can't talk about it. I'm just not talking about it to be safe. But like,
but you can talk about like what you do at least, like audio education.
Yeah. So I mean, Blip Sounds. I specialize in audio education, sound design for games. I've probably done 20 different speeches over the last 2 years in 2018, 2019. Google flew me out to, or actually, Google flew Carlos and I out to Vietnam last year.
Yeet. I helped.
He sure did.
I helped with the very first. Was that the very first one?
No, I did the first one.
Okay.
I did the first one by myself, and then I was like, "Hey, can I bring someone?" And they were like, "Yes."
Well, no, I helped with the one at PAX. Was that your first?
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, you helped with the PAX one. Yeah, the very first one.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
His very first speech.
Yeah, that was at PAX South. But it is crazy to think that, like, honestly, just because we live in Florida, and Florida for game dev is good. It's just not there yet. It needs it just needs like a tax break on game dev teams or game dev studios, something like that. I don't know. But anyways, I've been traveling a lot to go to these speaking things and to all that kind of good stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it's just like most of it was just right place, right time, and now that's kind of expanding into other things over time. With Google, my friend Nikolai recommended me to them. He's an amazing guy. He worked on the game Move or Die. He did a speaking thing for Google, and they needed an audio person to speak, and they said, hey. And he was like, hey, I know the guy. I got you. And then recommended me. Why he recommended me, I think, is because him and I hung out at PAX East, which was my second speaking thing. And him and I talked a little bit. I told him I was doing a speaking thing. Him and I had known each other online for a little bit before that, but it's, I don't know. Like, if I hadn't talked to him and hung out with him at East, I don't know if I would have done the Google thing. And who knows who he would have recommended otherwise.
Right. So this really can become a conversation about, like, as like a creative now in the almost 2020, the year almost 2020, how easy networking can be in terms of like the access that you have to other people, but also how much that makes it harder for you to stand out, that since everybody has access to so many people.
Yeah.
If you're trying to move forward in your creative career, you'll always hear like network, and but they don't really tell you how. They don't tell you what are the details of networking, you know, like what are the sort of interactions that you should try to plan for, or how should you carry yourself, or
Yeah.
you know, like
I think that, like, there's always a like a notion or a element of just like you can skip everything if you have credentials.
Right.
If you've worked with the biggest companies in the world, if you've worked with Amazon, if you've worked with Google, if you've worked with, I mean, if you work with brands that people recognize and trust,
Then they already trust you, and they don't have to vet you.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And that kind of like skips an entire process or step for you.
But you have to build to that point.
Right, and that's the thing, right? It's so there. I guess there's two sides to this. It's like, yes, network to network and just network, but then there's also like, okay, if you're gonna network, these things can help you if you're looking for work. Because in the end, if you're networking, we're assuming this from like a business perspective of like, oh, I'm trying to like get work or like work with other people, get gigs or whatever it may be. So we could just look at networking on its own, but and I guess we could probably talk about what the different things that point to that would be. So I would say that the mindset and you said the mindset and the attitude and your approach when you're going to network with people.
Yeah, so like the way I like to go about it primarily is like I like to network for the sake of meeting the people in the industry. What are the characters like in my industry? What's the general attitude of the person, and what are the friends that I can make? What are the type of people that I will meet? It's important to like, some people are going to go in and just use the person for what they can give them instead of trying to make a friend and, growing together.
Yeah. I think that's the kind of like, it's almost like a catch-22 kind of thing where like you're going in to make work.
Yeah.
To get work and like eventually like build up yourself in the industry. But then there's also an element of, yes, you are trying to get work, but ultimately like you're just blindly, facelessly, emotionlessly
Promoting
yourself and just saying like, like at PAX, for example, where there's an
check me
expo.
out.
Right. There's an expo floor and people just pass out their business card, don't say anything, or they'll say like, "Hey, I do this," and it's like, "Cool,
Yeah.
that's cool." I mean, you didn't even know if you're like specifically tailored for what we need, or like you didn't ask us, or we don't know if you're a cool person to work with.
Yeah.
All that we know about you is that you just want to get work,
Right.
and that tells us nothing about like how much you like our project. I mean, it kind of sounds petty to say it like that, but
No,
if you're in a competitive space, like I'm gonna choose the person that wants to work with me.
yeah, and who gives me less of a job to do to figure out if they're a fit. Like
Right.
if you go to them and say, "Here are my credentials. Here's my attitude. Here's what I can bring to the table," then you did the legwork for them, and all they have to do is make a decision.
Yeah,
And I struggled with that early on of like, I want my work to speak for me. I want to earn things by merit. But the population of these things, the competitive nature, like you'd have to pray that luck hits you on the head with an anvil because
and there is luck involved for sure. But
definitely. But the more work you put in, the less you have to rely on luck as well.
yeah, that's fair.
Trying to just, I struggle with like feeling annoying of like messaging people and stuff like that. But slowly getting over that, and it yields results. Like, and you can't deny that. And it makes you, as long as you understand that like everybody in the industry, they know what it's like to be there and to put in that effort and to put yourself in front of people. So like they'll be easier on you than you think. You might run into a few butts every once in a while, but
Yeah,
that shouldn't deter you. If you let that deter you, you're not gonna make it.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's just weird to think of it like it just builds up over time, and like if you're a cool person, it's there's always like a bunch of like online programs and YouTube videos. It's like, oh, I'm gonna become a better sound designer. I'm gonna become a better artist. I'm going to be a better programmer. I'm gonna make awesome games. But if you're a bad person, like if you're someone that
Yep.
you can't work with, or like you don't know, you don't like, or if you're just like, I don't know, just like, or generally like
Not agreeable.
not agreeable, like not, I don't want to say like not likable, because like that makes it seem like you shouldn't be fake or anything, but like there is like an element of politeness that you should at least be able to convey to people.
I guess it's just like human decency.
Yeah, like you got to make sure you have human decency and hygiene. And
Because especially now, and just with how connected everyone is, like this stuff will catch up to you. People will learn your name.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's that guy. Blah blah. He ate that dog.
Yeah, and that was really bad for me because I ate my dog,
Still getting over it.
and like people in the industry just keep on making fun of me. They're like, "You dummy, that was a dog.
That was a whole dog.
That was a whole dog.
You idiot.
How'd you even eat that? Like, what were you thinking? Like, did you not realize?" I was like, "Guys, I fell."
He's had to rebrand like 5 times.
5 times. It used to be dogsounds.com, and then they were just like,
Yeah, it feels a little on the nose.
and then I don't know. Hopefully, blip sounds will go well. We'll see.
Yeah, you can't eat a blip, so I think you're.
I keep, yeah, we'll see. They said I couldn't eat a dog, but
So it's funny. I'm looking at your computer screen right now, and there's like an image on there, but I'm looking at it through the pop filter, and to me it just looks like random colors and shapes, but like I can see a really strong composition built through that, and like I could almost replace everything in there with like just random characters, and it would be its own like, dang, it would be just like a whole new thing.
Yeah.
This is like an idea I've thought of for like coming up with compositions and stuff. Just looking at images and like squinting or something, and then everything kind of becomes something else. It almost looks like there's people flying through space.
Yeah,
And there's like a big sun behind them.
And if you actually look at it,
Yeah.
it's a cardboard tiny car that's holding food.
Oh wow.
So you're not wrong. You're kind of close. It's just
That's funny.
yeah.
But yeah, I can like use it as like a little cheat for creating a composition.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's interesting how like the color palette on that is the same too. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
Oops.
things that aren't visual, unfortunately, for a podcast about art and creativity.
This is our audio puppet show.
Yeah, pretty much. Watch.
Haha. Good old slapstick humor.
Isn't that good? Yep. Don't even need dialogue. Just gotta.
You wanted to make a puppet, huh?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
We talk about a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like.
I mean that you know me. Like we watched Demon Slayer, which I'm just realized we haven't talked about yet.
Mm-hmm.
For another time maybe, but because we're probably like 10 minutes away from ending this episode. And
Oh yeah, no.
we need at least 3
I
episodes.
definitely want to say that one.
Yeah. We'll do that next time, or maybe a future time. But I don't know. I'll watch anime. I'll watch just like a killer scene of something, or just like something that's like inspiring or emotionally driving. And every time I see one of those, I'm just like, I gotta do it.
I want to make it. Yeah. That happens with me with just scrolling through like Instagram or Twitter. Like
Oh yeah.
suddenly like I pass 10 different people and all their different art styles. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And then I don't think it's good for me, but
Yeah.
I do get like a serotonin release or like dopamine dump of tasty art to look at. It's a tough balance of like overloading myself and
Yeah.
not, but you know, how much is it inspiration and how much is it just diluting my own thoughts?
Yeah, I had that. I put out like I probably talked about my albums that I put out.
Mm-hmm.
I made I made the 3 albums, the Animal Crossing inspired, Nintendo inspired, then RPG inspired albums, and in each of those I had like a list of like 30 different styles of music that I wanted to make, and I like ordered them to like which one I would do next and such. And I guess it's kind of easier to do it in like a compartmentalized like
Yeah.
album, I guess, of each style that I want to do. And that was a good way to like practice and like make those things. But I had the same thing. I guess is what I'm saying. Is like I was gonna do more, but then there came a point where I was like, okay, like I can probably do this for a while. But then actually, that's when I started Blip Sounds. Like I made that transition, I guess, to something else.
Yeah,
sucks.
I think like
Why did I?
now you're going to jail.
Pretty much.
You got to teach people in jail sound design.
Yeah, that's
That's what they want.
That's all because those Animal Crossing album license proprietary copyright laws that I violated.
I wonder if dang, I feel like that'd be a nice like little intro sound. Something an Animal Crossing like a little stinger.
Yeah, I'm imagining like a music stinger.
Yeah, just to like start the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. We have the. I mean, we already have the sketchy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
I just like Animal Crossing songs.
yeah, well, that was funny because did we ever talk about the before we did Sketchy Monsters, like what we were doing, what we wanted to do before that?
Yeah, I think we glossed over it.
We did
quickly.
Oh yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah, we tried a podcast a while ago, and then because I'm from an audio background and Carlos is from an art background.
I always like get tripped up because it's like art can be used to describe like everything: audio, clay making, glass, dance, cooking, fighting. But then like it also is just like art, like the image element.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish the words were better.
Yeah, well, it's also cool because like we'll all talk about, or I mean, I'll walk into your room and you'll be like, hey, what do you think of this? Like with or without noise? And I'm like, oh, noise. That's actually something that you have in sound design,
Right.
White noise.
The parallels. The parallels is what we started. That we would get caught up talking in the most, just seeing how
Yeah,
the same concepts existed in different
and we'll probably
mediums.
do some episodes in the future where we make those parallels again.
Yeah, I think they're important for sure.
Yeah, but that was like kind of how we started, really.
Yeah.
We were doing the parallels with all this stuff, and then eventually we were just like, we could do. I think we said like, let's just do music or art.
Yeah.
And I think we just said let's just do art because you and I started drawing together.
Yeah.
And then we were drawing together, and then I think we just stopped for a while, and then we talked about Sketchy Monsters as like a community thing.
Right.
And now we're here.
Now we're here. And who knows where it'll go?
Yeah.
But it's just been a nice vocalization of thoughts and ideas.
Yeah. Doing these podcasts have been like really. I do one for Blip Sounds too, but like just talking in general kind of does a lot for my like my social thinking.
Yeah.
Really, because
it is. Yeah.
I'm in a box all day long in my room.
And that's something I think is important to realize. Like a lot of people like to sit in their heads and simulate reality there and like simulate conversations and ideas, and when all your ideas are just like built in a room, built in a lab, you don't have like, I don't know, I just know that I've been proven wrong by going out and experiencing the world. I'm like, oh, my preconception of this entire thing was wrong.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. I like that I can't predict certain things. And I think it's important to just do that, to know that you're not right. Sometimes that your bubble of thinking is lacks certain information.
Yeah, and I guess when you spend enough time alone, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm the best.
Yeah, no one's there to contradict you.
Yeah. But having these And that's kind of why, I mean, that's why the podcast conversational format is so nice to me, because like we get to focus on a specific topic and talk about an idea, but then I'll say something and you'll be like, well, actually, I think it's probably more like this, or like, yeah, that makes sense, or we'll like back up, like it's not even like an argument, but like we'll just make a point and back it up with our own experiences and such, and then we flesh out and go deep on those specific topics.
And it's funny because it shows you that like the same idea can be looked at so many different ways, and both ways can be right. That's kind of like what was the driving force behind Sketchy Monsters. Like, I can think of the word orange and you can think of the word orange, and we have so many different attachments to that single idea and word. And that's why we can learn from each other. Like, we all have different experiences that built the word orange for us. And we can show each other what all of that is, and break out of the bubble of like the isolation that a lot of us can fall into, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to like, because the podcasting is so new to me, or it's not that new to me, but like it's definitely providing something, like it's healthy for me to do.
Sure.
Like more than just like providing like something for a community. Like I personally benefit from recording stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I guess it's something along those lines. And I feel like there's more depth to it than that I want to analyze and explore.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm kind of curious as to, because I think in general it just kind of makes me, and then it also allows, when I edit them as well, or for now, as long as I'm editing it, it allows me to listen back and like hear myself and like notice like, oh, you pause a lot, Ryan. You guys don't know that, but
hear the gears turning.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, even just listening to yourself can be like just informative.
Yeah.
Of I don't know. Your perception of yourself is so different from how other people perceive you.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to like
balance those against each other.
Yeah, that, and I was gonna say like when you talk to somebody, like just like looking at you while I'm talking to you and like getting your reaction from certain things as I say them, it's like even if you don't say it, like I know what you feel about that just by like a general understanding and feeling and like body language and facial expressions. It's
like when people say like oh, like this is a good vibe or that guy has a bad vibe. I know it's a very like I don't know, like reductive way of approaching like perceiving another person, but I really just think that's
natural.
It's like we pick up vibes because subconsciously we're reading facial expressions and body language.
Yeah.
And all of that culminates into like a feeling that's subconscious. So it's a quick read, like bad vibe, good vibe.
I was so we're friends with a YouTube channel, and the show host for it, or showrunner, he was hanging out with me a lot at PAX West a couple weeks ago, and it was funny because I was introducing him to my friend Ronnie, and it was funny because like I could tell when it was basically like just a thing with drinks and friends and such, and I just invited him and a couple other people, and I wanted to introduce him to Ronnie because like she does voiceover and dialogue editing, and I wanted to connect them, and I could tell as soon as he arrived, he just like, he seemed like he was like slowly walking up, like his facial expression seemed like not like a little cautious. His head was back a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna introduce him as who he is, because otherwise he might be bombarded or something like that. And then also on top of that, like I I don't want him to be overwhelmed, and I also just want, like, I genuinely want these people to be friends. And also I know Ronnie's a cool person, but anyways, I introduced them. They had a great time, and they're connected now. But later I was talking to Ronnie about it, and she mentioned the same exact thing. She said, she was like, oh, yeah, I noticed, like, he was kind of, like, like a little shy. Like, a little, like, not as, like...
Engaged.
And, yeah, he was, like, he was a little bit defensive. And I was like, yeah, I noticed that, too. And I think that's the body language thing that we were talking about.
It's that's a lot about, like, going back to networking of, like, how you present yourself.
Bringing it back.
Making eye contact, you know, simple things like your parents hopefully harped at you where you're like, why does this matter? But, like, it matters because people notice, and it goes back to just our, like, primal brain of, like, all right, this person is strong, this person is capable, this person's reliable, or this person isn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are more complex than that, but that first read, those impressions are, especially in, like, industry settings of, like, where hundreds of people meet each other all the time, you gotta try to make them want to work with you.
Yeah. And I think I mean that all goes back to everything we said, like even just something as hygiene. Like, are you taking care of yourself? Well, how are you going to take care of the project I'm working on?
Right, exactly.
Or how do you
It's every little thing you do sends a message. And the better you learn to read a room and read other people, just kind of be empathetic, like, I think the smoother most things will go, because you can kind of nip things in the bud if they start to get kind of weird, or I don't know. It's inevitable that human relationships are going to get a little bumpy sometimes, but the more conscious and aware you are of them, it's just easier it is on you, I think.
Yeah.
And that comes with practice for sure. Getting yourself out there and leaving your little headspace. That being said, being in your little headspace is just as healthy. In its own time.
The balance. The yin and yang is really important in that.
Yeah. Like, you and I both are, like, people who need to recharge every once in a while after being very social.
Yeah.
Nothing like that being alone in your room with some anime for a little bit. That's my recharge for sure.
Yeah. I actually don't know what I think I need to get outside more. Like, that's my recharge, is, like, just being away from my computer. Or do you mean socially recharge?
I don't know. Whatever makes you feel recharged.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of things that... Anyway. We're in week 2 of Sticky Man.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Yeah. And can't wait to see what you guys do. We're recording this ahead of time, so we can't actually see what you guys are working on.
But crystal ball is in the dry cleaners.
I'm sure they're all great.
I'm going to try to post some whips of just, like, some sketches.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Help.
So now we've been traveling for a little bit, and we're just trying to get back into a rhythm of things. So hopefully we'll just get the flow going again on the Discord and stuff, and pop by, and let's just get weird and socialize and learn from each other, and do it.
Yep, it'll be a good time. Come, if you're watching this for the first time, come to the Discord server and hang out with the rest of the Sketchy crew. Or I was listening to the other podcast that we recorded, and we call this SketchyCast, but you also said Sketchy Boys, and you were like, oh, do I like that more than SketchyCast?
Sketchy Boys.
Sketchy Boys.
And boys encapsulates all genders.
Yeah, exactly.
We can all be boys with a Z.
So come and hang with the Sketchy friends, or whatever. Sketchy moms.
The sketchy guys in the alley.
Yep, that's us.
Rebranding.
Stamped.
Approved.
That's right. We're just some sketchy guys in an alley. Come join our Discord server. Or check out sketchymonstersart.com and submit a prompt for Sticky Man.
Sketchy Man.
Cool.
If you do it, we'll mail you some lima beans.
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh, I said it. It's too late.
We gotta go.
Ah, shit.
See you guys.
You had footsteps.
Yeah, I got you.
My Bumble friends.
Time after time, I gave no my sentence, but committed no crime. And back mistakes, I've made a few. We are the champions.
We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions
Of the world.
And then Freddie Mercury explodes into like butterflies.